I made the millions. All right, you made millions. You made the piano keys. You do that. Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that. You do that. Yeah. Get that. Make the wine man. Yes. Wakanda? Yes, I'm Wakanda. Wakanda wine man. Wakanda forever. Yes. I just wanted to understand.
Okay, this is awkward occurrence for awkward entertainment. Now you can see by the picture, Miss Latisha Stauch is back in Colorado. And that outfit she wearing looks like a 1980s street outfit. Those movies you see in the 1980s, the people on the streets in New York, they'll beat you up and all that. Because this is a sleeveless shirt. I just noticed that. With a guy in the back, got them wide eyes. Then you got two girls in the back. Then you got this lady smiling. But anyway, Latisha Stauch is back in Colorado. I believe that it's a suicide vest, whatever they may have called it. Let's get right into this. Let's just continue this video. Look at them eyes on him.
In the Circuit Court for the Ninth Judicial Circuit in and for Orange County, Florida. State of Florida versus Casey Marie Anthony. As to case number 2008 CF 15606-0. As to the charge of first-degree murder, verdict as to count 1. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty, so say we all, dated at Orlando.
Now, if she kills herself, now how are we going to get to see her in court and see her not guilty? Come on now, come on. Don't do it, Latisha. You're going to be not guilty, Latisha. Don't do it. So I really don't know why they had that vest on her. Maybe she mentioned something about being suicidal. You know, she looks a little off in some of her pictures and some of her videos, but don't do it, Latisha. You're going to get off, Latisha. You're going to get off. Just like Miss Casey here.
Orange County, Florida, on this 5th day of July, 2011.
Yeah, smile, Casey. Smile for the camera.
The woman accused of murdering her 11-year-old stepson is now behind bars in El Paso County. Letecia Stauch was booked into the jail this morning after being extradited from South Carolina. A court date had been listed for Friday, but that has since disappeared from the jail website.
Yeah, a lot of stuff disappeared, don't it? I know, right? A lot of...
Investigators have not found the body of Gannons Stauch. Latisha Stauch...
They have not found the body. Now, some people are speculating they have found the body. If they found the body, like that post I did yesterday by Big Snapper say they found the body along with some clothes, and the clothes led them to the body. Why would they keep it secret they found the body? They found the body. Like, they trying to not mess up the investigation. What excuse did they give to not mess up the investigation? What terms did they use to not mess up the... They didn't want to impede the investigation. They don't want to mess anything up. So if you found the body, why would you not say it? That's what I'm saying. They don't have a body. They don't. Ain't no body. Why would they hide the fact they have a body? If they have the person they need, which is Latisha Stauch... If they had a suspect, they wouldn't keep from the public, hey, we found his body. So this is the second day in a row they have said they do not have his body. I'm clearing that up for everybody. There's no reason to hide they don't have the body.
Reported him missing on January 27th. There have been a number of searches both in El Paso and Douglas counties.
Okay, this is... Hold on, let me read it. This is them talking about the suicide vest. I cannot rewind this. We know she arrived.
Okay, are you? Yes. Thank you. Switch to progressive and you can save hundreds. You know,
Yeah, why would you kill yourself, lady? I wouldn't kill myself if I'm not guilty. Look at that crazy picture. Okay, she was seen wearing a safety suicide smock behind bars on Thursday. So y'all can read this. I'm just skimming over. They still have an unsealed affidavit. Still waiting on that.
Nobody gets a finger. Oh my god, a finger.
This is a DA. I'm pretty sure everybody saw the DA talk. Allen remained tight-lipped on the details whether Gannon's body has been found. Well, I don't know why he remained tight-lipped. They just told us 2 days in a row they don't have a body. And telling us they have a body doesn't mess up no investigation. You know, that sorry A excuse they always give. It's still being sealed for investigative purposes. Don't make sense. Doesn't make sense.
Don't wait for a chip like this to crack your whole way.
Now, I hear some people, let me continue. I hear some people on YouTube got some information about her family members. I forgot what YouTuber it was, but she got a picture of the sister. I guess that was the sister picture I uploaded yesterday from Big Snapper. The picture of the mom and the brother, which none of them are involved in this case. So, you know, I guess she needed a show, so she just talked about the family. But they're not involved in him being missing. Hey, it's her show. She want to talk about the family as if it matters. Or whatever. I'm surprised they haven't did a Dateline special for this yet.
You get a strong pair that you can trust.
I only reminded Tate Lip and Tito.
No cost to you.
Safe like repair, safe like replace.
Nothing is certain in life, some except death. And when you walk into Little Caesars.
When asked what he would say to the Stauch family, Allen said, "I would just ask them to remain patient. This is going to be a long and drawn-out process." Well, if she kills herself, it's not going to be a long and drawn-out process. So hopefully, you see her in the picture on the left in that black vest. So they're trying to insinuate she's suicidal. Like, hey, don't kill yourself. You're not guilty. So, hey, Stauch appeared to smirk throughout her hearing arrangement. She was smirking. That was on Tuesday. As she told police, she didn't run from them or have trouble with them before walking out of the courtroom in South Carolina. Yeah, we know she was in Kansas on Wednesday. Come on with that smirk. Where you at? And there goes the smirk. Again, she does remind me of a witch. I still think you're innocent, but you still have a smirk. You still remind me of a witch. Oh, you're guilty of something, Latisha. Just not guilty of harming this boy. I think that's it for this article.
We just got done with video advisement, which is just really her being advised of what charges she was arrested on. Those will not be the formal charges necessarily, although we probably will have the same formal charges. That will occur next Wednesday, 4 o'clock p.m. in Division 15. So that's where we are today.
Okay, is that also going to be the jail video advisement or the
No, she'll be
courthouse?
present in the courthouse that
Okay.
day.
She'll be in the courthouse next time.
So she's being held on a first-degree murder charge, so she's being held without bond going forward.
Okay.
No bond, first-degree murder charge, and still innocent.
Can you tell us anything about what her defense attorney has petitioned at this point?
No, I can't. Those are still under a protection order, basically, at this point.
So she already has a defense attorney, and that's implied by the reporter asking about the defense attorney. And then Mr. Allen here answers the question.
Any motions that defense has filed and that sort of thing. And again, the arrest warrant is still being sealed, so I can't talk about the facts. I'm not going to talk about any of those things going forward. She is innocent until proven guilty. We need to remember that as well.
But she is innocent
And
until
talk
proven
about the
guilty.
importance of having everything under seal in this case, particularly help the public understand why.
Yeah, so the request for the affidavit to be under seal was made by law enforcement because it was made during the pending investigation.
Now he just talking gibberish. He's not saying nothing about why it's sealed. It's gibberish.
Make sure that we're protecting information so that if any suspects are found, that we can have some private information that they wouldn't necessarily have unless they're involved with the case. So that's typically why that's done. I'm not talking in a general sense when I say that. That was basically the request in this case, that we keep it under seal for investigative purposes, and it remains under seal.
I don't think there's going to be any of those suspects. Why would there be any other suspects? There's no sign of no other suspects. Even though her family has a criminal history. A lot of people have criminal histories. But you don't see no suspects on the camera, so hey.
At this point, Gannon's body still has not been found.
I'm not going to talk about the facts of the case at this point. I want to make sure that we're not trying the case in the media.
Yeah, he's not going to talk about the facts of the case. She asked about the body. Again, there's no body found because there's no reason to say a body hasn't been found.
Why was she brought back over land rather than by air?
That was a decision made by law enforcement, not necessarily by the DA's office, and so I would have to refer you to the law enforcement agency.
Any speed bumps on the way home?
I have no idea.
Is it true that Judge asked for the advisement to be today? Because typically an inmate, it takes a day or two after they're booked. Can you talk about that and why that request was made?
I'm not sure what led to the advisement occurring today at 1:30 as opposed to tomorrow at 1:30. I got the notification and came over to the courthouse, so I'm not sure why it came up so quickly.
In general terms, are cases without a body more difficult to prosecute?
It's a new challenge on a case like a homicide case without a body, but it doesn't necessarily make it necessarily more or less difficult.
How long until...
I guess it makes it more difficult because, you know, you got a woman in the courtroom with no body. I mean, it's like she's there for no reason. Really, it's like you charge her for no reason. Even if you find a body, again, Casey Anthony case, okay, not guilty. Okay? You can say Leticia's bad, this, that, and the third. Facts are, you can't prove first-degree murder. It's going to end like this lady's case.
Do you guys think the affidavit will be unsealed?
It would be impossible to guess at this point.
And would your office support media coverage during the court proceedings?
Generally speaking, I think the public has a right to know what's going on in the courthouse. I don't have any particular position on that.
I think the public has a right. It's a lot of times they don't allow cameras in the courtroom in a lot of cases. But they'll take away that right. These imaginary things they call rights that people believe they have.
It's up to the judge.
Would your office be willing to make a deal with her in return for locating the body?
That's way too premature at this point to even have that discussion.
Again, she's not making a plea deal. Would your office want to make a deal with her? In return, she locates the body. Lady, you still gonna spend a bunch of time in jail if you confess to anything. So, like, stay in jail, keep your mouth shut, and go to trial. Don't hang yourself. Because, again, they got her in a suicide vest. Just keep your mouth shut and go to trial. Because, obviously, they have another weak case.
You said not having a body provides new challenges. What are those challenges?
I think those challenges would be obvious, and I don't want to get into the facts of this case, so I'm going to avoid answering that question for now.
In terms of...
So he didn't answer what the challenges would be of not having a body. Well, you can't figure out how he died. If you can't figure out how he died, you can't say she did this, that, and the third. Well, you can't say she poisoned him. You can't say she stabbed him. You can't say she beat him. Because you have no evidence to support that. So that would be a challenge.
Experience with your office, though, we did just do a trial with that body.
Sure, but every case is different. We need to keep that in mind as well.
What would you say to Gannon's family? Stauch family?
When I talk to Gannon's family, I just want to make sure that they remain patient. This is going to be a long, drawn-out process, and they need to keep that in mind. We're in the justice system now, and it's going to take a long time.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Michael, do you have any worries about not being able to use the death penalty as
Keep rolling.
Can you say that again?
I guess.
Yeah, they don't have the death penalty. She asking something about if you wish you had a death penalty in that state, so you can use it as a bargaining chip for Latisha. As if the reporters themselves, I guess, are assuming she's guilty. Which again, innocent until proven guilty. Which in this case, she's 100% innocent. So, hey.
Any worries about not being able to use the death penalty as a tool for a plea deal?
So again, I don't want to get into talking about potential pleas in this case. It's way too premature for that. I am disappointed that the death penalty is going away because it is a valuable law enforcement tool. Absolutely.
Why is it
A valuable law enforcement tool. It's a valuable law enforcement tool because they can dangle it over people's head and get information out of them. Or people who don't go to trial. Or people who don't know how to persuade, use emotions and logic to get a not guilty verdict. That's when you have a shitty lawyer, a shitty public defender. You have a public defender, you actually got to work with your public defender to get a not guilty verdict. Because your public defender going to be lazy as hell. That's how it is. They lazy as hell. They try to do the less work as possible.
Because it's used oftentimes to hold the most egregious violent offenders accountable.
But it doesn't go away retroactively, right?
It does not go away retroactively, so potentially there could be still a death penalty sentence in the state of Colorado. I anticipate, though, based off of comments made by the governor, that he will commute the death sentences that are currently on the books. So for all intents...
Speaking of death sentences, so what happens when Jesus Christ comes back and all these people are judged?
For purposes, if that happens, the death penalty would be gone in Colorado immediately.
You said it can be used in some of the most egregious cases. Would you call this one of the most egregious cases?
I'm not going to get into the facts of this case, and that would be getting too close to that.
Is it that has you so angry? Is it the attackers?
It's the attackers, but it's also the attacks. It's like, you know, at first it was a thing of like, listen, if I tell the truth, then that's it, because it's the truth. Mm-hmm. Then it became a thing of like, oh, how can you doubt that? Like, how do you not believe that? It's the truth. And then it became a thing of like, oh, it's not necessarily that you don't believe that this is the truth.
You don't want to see that this is the truth. Now, before I get out of here, let's look at a photo I have found. Now, where is this photo? Do we have that photo? And no, it didn't download. Anyway, there's a photo out with a bunch of people inside a building wearing blue shirts under somebody's Twitter, some lady's Twitter. A bunch of people blue shirts for Gannon. You can see the white and black floors that they're standing on. So let me go ahead and do my outro. Then I am out of here. No. I say no.
In the Circuit Court for the 9th Judicial Circuit in and for Orange County, Florida, State of Florida versus Casey Marie Anthony. As to case number 2008 CF 15606-0. As to the charge of first-degree murder, verdict as to count 1. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty, so say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, on this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson. As to the charge of aggravated child abuse, verdict as to count 2. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty, so say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson. As to the charge of aggravated manslaughter of a child, verdict as to count 3. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty, so